Clipse might have just dropped album of the year. Let's talk about it. After a 15 to 16 year hiatus, Clipse are now back with a brand new album. I've been talking about it on my channel for weeks. You know what I'm saying? From the leak with Kendrick Lamar, from the, shots took in that Travis Scott on the So Be It record, you know what I mean? And just the anticipation for this actual album. And it's finally here. It is here after a long wait. Now, to be honest, gotta be honest first, I've never been a super duper fan of Clipse. Reason being, always bought their albums, always thought that they was lyrically dope. But just out of my bias and me, living half of my life in New York, I've always been a Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep fan, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But clearly the Clipse, even before this album, have been one of the top two-man groups ever, like seriously. And I think with this album, they're proving their point even more, even more. I was excited. So last night I actually did a live reaction to listening to the album for the first time. And I have to say, after listening to it again this morning, I still feel the same way. This album for me is a 9 out of 10. Phenomenal. Pharrell did an excellent GOAT job of producing this project. He went back into what makes the Clipse and Pharrell who they are. You know what I mean? The production was on point. The lyricism was top notch from everybody on the project. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I think Malice kind of like stole the show per se, but Pusha T was still doing his thing as well. And then the features, every feature was carefully crafted. Like the first couple features, John Legend, Kendrick Lamar, Tyler the Creator, right off the bat. In the first 5 records, right off the bat. Like, this album, is so much to say about it in so little time. I'm going to just try to get through some of it. I'll talk about my favorite records and why. First record, the actual intro of the song, Let the Birds Sing, if I'm not mistaken. It's called Let the Birds Sing. If I'm wrong, correct me. This record, the Clipse was talking about, the first verse was Malice talking about his dad, talking about their dad, you know what I mean? And just the things that were going on in his hiatus of stopping music, starting music, and just the dynamic he had with his dad. And then the second verse was Pusha T talking about his mom, their mom. And it was a beautiful dynamic because in Pusha's verse, he was referencing how she was always a big fan of them being together no matter what they did, whether it was rapping, whether it was business, just the camaraderie of being a family and being together. 2 brothers going together against the world. And I think that means so much. You know what I mean? It means so much. To be honest with you, I need to go have a conversation with my brother just from listening to that record. I mean, we're good. Love my brother. We're good. But I got to be honest, we're not as close as we should be. That's for another day. That record is fire. The John Legend, his hooks, the way the church came in, the organs came in, the pianos, like perfect record to start off a Clipse album. Hint, I said a Clipse album because a lot of people like to reference, the Clipse as like more of an East Coast type of group, and that's not the case. Virginia has its own sound. If you hear the way that they use the pianos, the way that they use the organs, the way that they use choir voices and things like that, that is its own Virginia culture. So I never looked at them as like an East Coast type of, group. Even though the lyricism You know, elite lyricism, of course, rivals a lot of the New York rappers, but they have their own distinctive soulful sound. You know what I mean? So that record is fire. Then we jump into, excuse me, then we jump into Chains and Whips. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know what it is. Kendrick, I mean, y'all heard the leaked verse, but now y'all can hear it in real time. But what you didn't hear was how elite Pusha and Malice was on that record. Definitely one of the top records of the year for sure. And Kendrick just does his thing. He does total damage. When I listened to the verse and I heard about, and I listened to the line about the trump card, I don't know what Def Jam was thinking. Y'all think that trump card line is trying to degrade the president or take shots at somebody? Like, what are y'all thinking? We use trump card like as creators, like in rappers, they use trump card for the longest. Raekwon was used that back in Cuban Link days. What are you talking about? The trump card is pretty much the card that decides the fate of whatever's going on in your hand. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, anybody that plays cards or anything or knows about the phrase trump card, let me know in the comments. Because in my opinion, I'm thinking the trump card means that you can pretty much decide the fate of what's going to go on. You know what I mean? So I think he used it in that context. Nothing wrong with that. Not taking shots at the president. Man, y'all wildin'. Stop that, Def Jam. Y'all just lost a great album for nonsense. Y'all gave a great album to Rock Nation, and y'all bugging. Def Jam, y'all bugging. I want to see what's the next release that Def Jam got coming out, because if it don't compare to what the Clipse did, y'all lost one for sure. Let's keep going. Another one of my favorite records, POV, you know what I'm saying, which is, you know, Tyler, the Creator. He's on that record. Pusha T, he destroys the record. That song is another one of those boom bap classic joints that can go on a playlist. That record is fire. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my favorite joints. Definitely go listen to that. You know, Tyler's gonna always be a beast. He's always a beast. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. Another one of my favorites is Mike Tyson to the Face. It was like MTT, something like that. It's called Mike Tyson to the Face or something like that. That record is fire too. Nostalgic, you know what I'm saying? Great energy, you know what I mean? It's one of them things where it sounds like a mixtape record, you know what I'm saying? And even through the project, they would hint at certain things where they say, this is not culture appropriate. Like they would use that tag as like a stamp for like a mixtape all through the project. And it came in at the right time because it's reiterating and letting you know, like, nah, we not doing things to appease the labels, to appease the people who want popular music. Now we doing this. We doing this because it's for the culture. It's not culture appropriate, but we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. That's what I love about this project, is that they're doing things that are nostalgic, but in modern times. All the beats sound modern and fire, futuristic, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But still got the nostalgic elements. They even threw DJ Clue. As a tagline in some of the records. Like not just in one record, in a couple of them. That's what I mean by understanding the assignment. You know what I'm saying? This is what we need in hip hop. We need more albums to be cohesive, modern, and fire and dope. Elite lyricism. No disrespect to our other legends that's been putting out projects, but in my opinion, they didn't take their time, or they probably didn't have the right producers or right engineer to be able to get out the best in you. You're a legend. You still got fire. But it's up to the production team and the people that's working around you to let you know what's dope, what's not. I listened to a couple of Legends albums, and I'm not going to say no names. But I could tell that you got a bunch of yes men around you, a bunch of people that don't know your catalog, a bunch of people that don't understand what you've built for the culture and what you need to stand on moving forward doing music. That's just as important. Especially if you're a true hip hop fan, you know, even if you're bringing new records to the forefront, it still has to have some level of being modern and nostalgic for what you do. Not pure nostalgia to where it's like you rapping like old times. Nah, bring it to the forefront. And that's what the Clipse have just done. You know what I mean? Last record before I go, because I don't want to be too long-winded. I want y'all to take y'all time to go listen to the album. Last record. Last two records. Let God Sort 'Em Out and Chandeliers. That's the record with Nas, where they switched the beat. 10 out of 10. Nas is rapping at an elite level always. So all the people that's trying to judge whether they should pick Nas or Jim Jones, stop all that. Nas is still at an elite level. He building casinos and still rapping like this. Let's be clear. He is building casinos and still rapping like he's Nasir, like he's Nasty Nas, Nasir Jones. Come on, man. Stop that. I like the way that they did 2 verses for Pusha and Malice, and then they went ahead and just changed the beat and put Nas on it. Dope record, and also there's still room for another Clipse and Nas record in the future. Maybe on Nas's project. You know what I'm saying? There's more to be done for that. Another record. FICO with Stove God. Stove God Cooks. Come on, man. Pure drug talk. FICO with Stove God Cooks is fire. And they brought a new school MC that do his thing, that got that drug talk, the Clipse and Stove God. I don't think y'all understand how beautiful that is. That's beautiful. He did his thing on there. I wish he would have had a verse. He probably got a verse tucked in the hard drive somewhere. Hey, man, do the remix where he put the verse back. I know Stove got a verse for sure, but you know, still the record is dope. I think the way that they did the verses on FICO, you know what I'm saying? If you listen to their cadence, you know what I'm saying, Pusha T, you know, every first half of the end of the first bar, he would use a like FICO, like no, stuff like that. He would use that, and then he would finish the bar. And he did that the whole verse. It was fire the way they did it. And then Malice did the same thing. I think that's one of the most elite verses in terms of cadence and flavor on the entire album. I gotta listen to the album again to see if who has the verse of the album. You know, so I gotta listen to it again. But that record is fire. And then the last song on the project, By God's Grace. At first, I gave that record an 8 out of 10, but then I listened to it again this morning. And when I tell you that thing touched my soul, what he explaining on there is like, yo, we could have been gone. We could have been in jail. We could have had the worst of the worst. Like a lot of other people that's not here. A lot of other people that's in jail. But by the grace of God, we figured out a way. It's another way. The hook is money. Pharrell, that hook is money. I watched empires crumble. And even though they could have took my wall as in my wall of my empire, what I've been doing, all of my work that I put in, even though that could have been taken away from me, it didn't by the grace of God. Come on, man. Y'all not making records like that, man. These other rappers ain't making records like that, man. What y'all doing? This is what we need in the culture. We need more of this. To be honest, I'm anxious to hear a Joey Badass album. I'm anxious to hear another Jim Jones project because I'm anxious to hear other projects from everybody. What y'all got on this? What y'all got on this? You know what I'm saying? This is what we need. Last thing, I didn't hear Jay-Z verse, and I'm mad about that, y'all. Push, I'm mad at you, bro. I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you only, Push. Even though Pharrell could have called too, and Malice could have called too. I'm mad at you, Push. You should have called Jigga until the phone got tired. But I'm going to give y'all grace because I think that there's going to be a remix of either Chains and Whips or So Be It. Mostly So Be It. I think if Jay-Z gets on So Be It, he gonna have a lot to say. And do a 6-minute verse again. Do a 6-minute verse again. I think there's gonna be a remix with Hove. Why not, man? Please. Even though the album is a 9 out of 10, it's still a stellar album. It's still a great album. Hove, if you're listening, I hope you're listening. Do the verse. This is history in the making. Do the verse, Jay-Z. Do it. If you don't do no other more verses for Pusha and Malice and Pharrell, if you don't do no other verses, do it for this album, please. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about this album. Let me know what y'all think. I think it's a 9 out of 10. The only reason why it's not 10 out of 10 is because I think the record, all things considered, I'm not too fond of the hook and I'm not too fond of the beat per se, even though Malice and Pusha did their thing on that song anyway. But that one, and then I think it was another record that I deemed like 8 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Every other record was 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, 100%. So let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all become a member because I will be doing a review on, not a review, but just a conversation about my favorite hip hop groups and why. I want to talk about that, but I'm only giving that to my members because there's some stuff that I'm going to say that's real and dear to my heart that I can only tell it to my members, only to my members. So make sure you become a member, and I appreciate y'all showing love. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm at 1,358 subscribers, and I'm trying to hit that 1,500 mark, man. I'm trying to hit the 1,500 mark. So help me do so. Make sure you share the page. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Work low.